generally speaking, this, and I thought I told him this, but come on in, Luffy, let's go. Come on, we're waiting on you. Give it up for Luffy! Woo! I generally do this panel. It's called Con Horror Stories. And are you just moving back a row? Oh, aren't you kind, man? Give it up for you. That was awesome. My name is John Swasey, and I thank you very much for that. I am a voice actor. I play characters like Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist. Crocodile in One Piece. Lord Death in Soul Eater. Undertaker in Black Butler. I play Kumatetsu in the movie The Boy and the Beast. Thank you very much. That is a very special place in my heart. So anyway, some of the story, in fact, I'll tell you a story real quick about that. Some of these stories are about conventions, but really it's more about kind of the aggregate experiences that I've had being a voice actor in anime. I've been doing this since 1996. Who was born in 1997? Or 96? 97. 96, 95, 94. Sold! So, I've been doing this for 21 years. 21 years. And I'm only 25, which is really amazing when you think about it. Anyway, Boy and the Beast was one of my favorite all-time roles I've ever done. You know, people always go, what's your favorite role you've ever done, or anything like that. It's like, Boy and the Beast is really one of my favorite roles, you know. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie, and I was just thrilled and honored that I got to be in that role. But my son, who loves anime, the other day, I walked in, I'm an actor, I'm a voice actor, I dub anime. It's what I do for a living. I walk into my son's room the other day, and he's watching. What you doing? He's got his little phone on. My phone's over there. He's like, his little phone out. He's like, what you doing? I'm watching Soul Eater. I'm like, sweet. You know, I play Lord Death. And he goes, yeah, I'm watching the Japanese version. The tape right here on the head of this golf club knows more about anime than my wife does. Okay? You get an idea for how much my wife does not know about anime. So we're on the plane ride over. This is several years ago. And we're on the plane ride over. And I'm sitting there talking to my wife, and I said, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something, and I don't really know how to say it, so I'm just going to say it, okay? But in the world of anime, I'm kind of a big deal. And she's like, you know, spitting up her wine. She's like, what? I said, I'm just saying, that's why we're invited to a convention in Ireland. People want to meet me. They want to get an autograph. They want to talk, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, you know, I mean, I may not be the Brad Pitt of anime, but and she chimes in, Kevin Bacon. Sure, whatever. I'm just saying that's why we're going. So we get off the plane, we go through customs, and we come out with our luggage into the lobby of the airport. And sure enough, there's like 6 or 7 people with signs going, we love you, John Swasey. And my wife's like, oh my God. So I told you, you know, it's not huge, but it's something. So anyway, when you're a voice actor or a guest, it doesn't even have to be a voice actor, but if you're a guest and you go to a convention, especially a really big one, you get what we call a liaison or a handler. So I'd like real quick to introduce to you my de facto handler right here. This is Faye. Say hi, Faye. Hi. It's funny, Faye picked me up at the airport and we've just kind of stuck together. She's not even my assigned handler. She just, you know, we don't even know where. In fact, she really doesn't even belong to the convention. I just hitched a ride with her and she's here now. So she was wearing Pokemon. I just figured that's got to be right. So, but anyway, so you get a handler. So my handler, our handler, Sinead, she's with us. And she's sitting there and she's talking to my wife and she's like, oh, you're so lucky. My wife's like, what are you talking about? She goes, you're married to John Swasey. I was like, so? Well, I mean, it's exciting, you know, you're married to a voice actor like John Swasey, you get to be with him all the time, you get to hang out with him. You get to sleep with him. And my wife goes, yeah, he's no big deal. Thank you, thank you. I've had several bad experiences in Florida. So we'll call this the Florida portion of the show. Florida actually has a ton of conventions. I mean, it's like, I think for a state that looks like a drooped penis, it's like got a lot of things going on there, you know. And one of it was this convention. It was in Daytona, Florida. It's a very small convention. And I'm showing a movie later tonight if you guys want to come by and see it. It's, I think, at 9 o'clock. It's going to be in panel room 301. It's called Lake Texarkana Gamera. It's a live-action Japanese movie it's about a turtle, Gamera, turtle, like Godzilla, but he's a turtle. And it's Gamera 2, and we dubbed it as a bunch of rednecks from Texas. It's very funny. The Japanese loved it. They endorsed the whole thing. It's very, very funny. I would encourage you to please come see it. It is also 18 or over, unless mom comes along, and then you can come along with your 16-year-old. So, you know, you should just hang a sign out. If you're 16 and want to get into a panel, I'm your mom. $10. So, anyway, so I was at this, so I was going to show another movie. I'd shown the Gamera movie the year before, and I was back again this year, and I said, well, I've got a new movie. And this new movie was a movie we did called Big Bad Mama-san. And it's about a female truck driver in Japan. And again, we dubbed it as a bunch of rednecks and everything. And but it was unlike this movie. This Gamera movie is a clean movie. It's just got some language. But this truck driver movie we did has some gratuitous sex and some, you know, boob shots and which frankly we didn't want. We wish we could have edited it out because it's just gratuitous. It doesn't add to the story or anything. But there's this one scene that this hooker in the movie is having sex with this truck driver in the back of his truck. Okay, so back up a little bit. We're at the convention, and I said, hey, listen, I got this movie, and I want to show it, but it's 18 or over. I'd like to do it at 9 o'clock at night. They're like, no problem. So we all start drinking and having fun and doing the con thing, and everything's going great. And somebody comes up and it's like, hey, John, listen, man, we got to move your movie back an hour to 8 o'clock. I'm like, okay, whatever, fine. You know, and I'm drinking and having a good time. We're doing this. Somebody comes up a little later, goes, hey, man, we got to move your panel back to 6 o'clock. And I'm like, whatever, dude, I don't care. That's fine. You know, I'm easygoing. So we'll do that. It gets moved to like 5 o'clock. And again, I'm not thinking now. I've had like, I don't know how many beers, and I'm just like, whatever. So we get everybody in the room. I'm like talking about setting up the whole movie. And, you know, the reason you have these late at night is because it's easier to not have an 18 or 17 or younger because a lot of those kids are gone to bed. So we're sitting there, and the room's filled, and we start showing the movie, and people are laughing. Everything's going fine. Everything's doing great. And it's a setup very much like this, where the projector is going like this. And we're showing the movie, and all of a sudden, here comes this scene, and I'm like, oh crap, here's this damn stupid scene with the sex in the back. It's really gross, and they're all gooey, and they're doing it, you know, in the truck and everything. I'm just like, oh, come on, you know. And all of a sudden, the room is dark, you know, and all of a sudden I just hear, you know, there are kids in the room. Oh, I freak out. And I run up like to stop the movie. Now they're doing it on my stomach. And so I just, oh man, it was awful. It was awful. So I shut the movie down, and I like had 2 hours to fill. I'm like, okay, any questions? I play a character named Salvador. He talks like this. He's big and he's a badass. So when he gets really gunzerker mode and he's going nuts and he's got his guns and he's just like this, you know, he has this sort of orgasmic type experience. Now this line actually got cut from the show, unfortunately, the game. But when I read it, I couldn't believe it. So we're sitting there and he's going, and the line is, it's like having 3 dicks! Big weekend, a lot of great actors there. Johnny Young Bosch was there, Reuben Langdon was there. Y'all know Reuben Langdon? You know Reuben Langdon? He's this real buff guy, you know, he does a lot of stunt work and stuff.
And at the closing ceremonies, Ruben is like, you know, they're introducing us going, all right, our next guest comes all the way from California. Let's give it up for Ruben Langdon. And he gets up and he's like, man, I had a great time. Everything's cool. And all of a sudden, some girl in the back goes, take off your shirt. And he goes, all right. He takes off his shirt and everyone's going, yeah. I mean, I'm not, but I mean, they're going, yeah. He takes off his shirt and he's got another shirt on underneath. And I was like, yeah. He goes, hang on. He starts taking that one off. They're like, yeah. He's like 7 shirts on. So he peels them all off. And he finally gets to the last one. He won't take it off. So then I'm like thinking, well, I'm not going to take my shirt off. I'll clear the room. That's no good. So I know what I'll do. So they go, and our next guest comes all the way from Texas. You know him as Owenheim, as Gendo, and Evangelion. Give it up for John Swasey. And I'm like, man, I had a great time. This was so much fun. And I am not going to take my shirt off. And I went, took my pants off. Oh. You're right, he's no big deal. So, anyway, but then what was really to add insult to injury, I was like, you know, everyone's laughing and we're all having a blast. And I reach down to pull him up and I fall over. And I'm like a turtle, you know, I can't, my legs are up in the air and I'm just, I can't get up, I need help. Anyway, so then after I pulled my little stunt, I went backstage and the MC's like going, oh my God, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. You were so lucky the con chair was not here to see that because they would have been furious with you. So last year they had me back to the convention. And this happened 7 years ago, 6 years ago. And they're still talking about it, you know. Let's just make sure John does not drop his pants. They're on agreement team, you know, John does not. So, yeah, I came up with a pant condom. I just took a trash bag and put it on, and they're like, what's that? I said, well, if my pants fall down, I'm protected. Anyway, yeah, so this is actually, and this is one of the worst ones here, and I didn't do this, but I experienced it we were doing a show in Tampa, Florida called MetroCon. And it's about 5,000 to 6,000 people, pretty good sized con, you know. And we're doing a panel, and it's me and Monica Rial and Lucy Christian and a couple other actors, except Monica's not there. So you guys know when you do a big convention, that elevator access is like excruciating, right? Just waiting on the elevator, waiting, and then it opens, you're like, oh, really? I'll wait for the next one, you know. So we're waiting on Monica, and all of a sudden she comes in, and we're all up here like this, and she comes in from the back of the room and starts walking this way, and she's just going, like, Monica, you all right, honey? What's going on? She grabs a microphone, she goes, I need to share something with you all that just happened to me. So I'm running late for the panel, and the elevators are not coming quite quickly enough, so I decide to take the stairs from like the 12th floor, and I'm coming down the stairs, and you know how stairs go like this, you know, like this. I'm coming down the stairs, and right around, I don't know, the 4th floor, this stench hits me like a brick wall. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? What is that? And I come around the stoop, and there on the little platform is a human poo. Now, I'm not saying it's any one of you all, but if you poo again in the stairwell, I'm not coming back to your convention. I remember I was riding an escalator. This guy just dropped trowel, went right on the escalator. Like, what? Oh yeah, and then the escalator, you know, it goes, and it's like, now it's in the tread of the escalator, just recycling. Wow! Whoa! What? Why? You know, Ireland, they have that Irish accent, right? That brogue. And I was talking to Sinead, my handler, and I said, you know, I said, Sinead, you know, she goes, John, is there anything you're going to need while you're here? And anything at all? I said, well, you know what, all I want to have is a cold Guinness in my hand at all times. She goes, oh, that can be done. And so I was the only guest. Chris Patton was supposed to be there and he had to cancel at the last minute, unfortunately. But so I was there. So we're doing this big, it's a room like this, it's filled, and we're doing kind of a Q&A on the stage. But it's not behind the tables, it's set up like a talk show. You know, there's just 2 chairs and there's a table next to me. And you can actually, I've seen this now on YouTube. And I'm sitting there and I'm talking and answering questions from the audience, and this guy is doing the facilitating. And right next to my table, there's this Guinness, right? Like this. And I'm like, yeah. And it's right at the edge of the screen, you know, right here. And I'm like, I finished the Guinness, I go like this. I put it down, I'm like, well, that's a real interesting question. And, you know, I'd have to say, and while I'm talking, you see this. Just this hand creep in. And then a full Guinness go. That was awesome, man. I was like, I love Ireland. Anyway, while we were there, so she goes, so are there, you know, are you gonna, you got your panels and everything, and you know, there's some things we'd like you to do. I mean, would you like to come to the anti-panel? I like the anti-panel, sure, I'll come to the anti-panel. And I'm thinking the anti-panel, right? It's like the panel late at night where you just, it's all blue, you can say whatever you want. Right, you know where I'm going, right? So my wife there, I'm like, hey, you want to go to this anti-panel with me? And she's like, no, I'm going to stay in the hotel room, I'm tired. Because it was at midnight, you know. And so I like go down to the bar, I get a Guinness, and I'm walking along, man, and it was not a huge convention. It was maybe 1,000 people, maybe 1,200, something like that. But like, everything is quiet. There's nobody, you know. And I can hear around the corner, that's where the din of activity is. And I come around the corner and it's the hallway filled with every convention goer in line. They're all just sitting there waiting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta wait in this line? And here comes Sinead, she's like, oh John, come on down. No, you don't wait, you're a guest of honor. Come on in front, you know, get your Guinness, everything's sitting right up here. And I walk in and I'm thinking, you know, I'm part of the panel. So they've got this room set up with a screen and everything, and they've got a big, fat, overstuffed leather chair right here. They're like, John, this is your seat. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. I thought I was going to be on the panel. But all right, whatever, you know, I sit down. And I'm like thinking, it's the anti-panel. Well, no, it's the hentai panel. And Lorraine and Sinead, these 2 girls, they're friends of mine now, but they're like doing this kind of history of hentai. And I'm just like, tentacles? Oh my God. Anyway, that was weird. This was actually, I think you'll appreciate this. This will never happen again, hopefully. But I was over there in November this past year, and it was literally the weekend before the election. And you know, I had a friend of mine who lives in Berlin. He came over. He's a business partner of mine, and we're working together on this movie called The Perfect Con, K-H-A-N. Keep your eyes open for that. The Perfect Con will be out later this year. It's an animated movie that we made. It's very, very funny. And anyway, so he came over, and we're talking and having fun, and because he, you know, I came over to Ireland, he came over from Berlin, and so we're having fun together, and he's coming to the convention and all this stuff. And on Saturday morning, we're like, hey, let's go for a little walk. You know, let's kind of explore the city a little bit. And so we're walking along, and there we see this pub. It's called, I think it's 13 Hill or 18 Hill or something like that. It's a number in Hill, or Hill 18 or something. And it's where a hill where some massacre happened to the Irish from the British, you know, long time ago. Anyway, it's this little pub. And we walk in, and my friend, Matthias, is like this tall. You know, he's huge. And we walk in the pub, and it's like the most stereotypical Irish pub you know, all these old guys sitting there with a pint of Guinness and their little hats and, you know, talking and all this stuff. And we're like, I said, do you guys serve food? And he's like, no, we're just, you know, no, just beer and whiskey. You know, okay, whatever. So while we're here, we'll just have a beer. So my accent, my American accent, catches the ear of one of these guys. And they're kind of looking at us. And they're like going, look how tall that one is there. You know, they're laughing at my friend, and we're both kind of sitting there taking it. Anyway, this guy finally gets over and he goes, so, you're not from here, are you? Like, no, I'm from the States. He goes, I know, I can tell. Hey, let me ask you a question. What the fuck are y'all doing over there? Tonight at 9 o'clock in 301, we're doing the screening of the movie. Thanks. Come by. Friend me on Facebook. And, you know, you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.